my friends. Today's video is going to be a very chatty, incredibly casual life update. I basically just wanted to share with you where I've been, why I haven't been uploading as much, and what you can expect to see from me in the next month or so. So basically just do a little bit of housekeeping. I did ask you for some questions on Instagram that I wanted to answer. So we are also going to do a tiny little Q&A, which is going to be more lifestyle related. I do think that there are plenty of luxury questions, which maybe we can touch on some of them if we have the time. And then I finally got my shoes in from Elo that I talked about in a recent unboxing. There is another piece from Elo, which was a huge fail, but I still wanted to show you. And I also got an amazing new gym bag. It's nothing fancy, but I really am so excited to share it with you, especially considering that I have tens. I don't want to say hundreds, but definitely tens and maybe even over 100 questions on my fitness journey. So I figured this would be the perfect video for me to infuse a little bit more of my fitness purchases. So if that sounds interesting to you and you'd like to have a good old catch up with me, then make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet, especially considering that I will not be uploading as consistently just for the next month. So if you want to stay up to date on my videos, make sure that you're subscribed just so you get notified every time a video goes live. And of course, keep on watching. Now, if you've been with me for a while, you might have noticed that I've actually gone down to uploading once a week in the past month. And that's purely because I've just had so much on my plate, not only in my personal life, but also in my business, going back to school and prepping for that. That has been quite overwhelming. I had Pi for the majority of August, or for a pretty good chunk of August. He wasn't staying with his other dad that much. It was also my birthday. So there was just a lot going on. And it's not like I needed a break because I still very much enjoy doing YouTube, but I'm the kind of person, I'm an all or nothing kind of person. Like if I show up, I want to give you 110%. I don't want to just sit here and waste your time by being low energy and not feeling like that I can add anything to your day and to your life, because I do really appreciate you taking precious time out of your day to spend, 10, 20 minutes with me. So I want to make sure that when I sit down and I film for you, I actually have something to deliver, and I just really didn't feel like it. Also, I feel like my life has changed quite a bit. I'm not nearly as into luxury as I used to be. I mean, don't get me wrong, fashion still brings me a lot of joy, but I don't buy as much stuff as I used to. And I'm not sure if it's just me changing personally, although I think it's a big chunk of it, but also my lifestyle has changed quite a bit since moving to Amsterdam. Now I bike places. I really don't go out as much since I've been so busy. The only place I go is to see friends, and we usually go to the gym. So even the things I already own, I cannot wear quite as much. I mean, when I lived in New York, it's not like I took cars everywhere. I took the subway on a regular basis, but I feel like in New York, people dress up a lot more. Whereas here in Amsterdam, I don't think people dress up, or it might be just my, experience living here for the past 4 years. But I really don't think people dress up as much, which that has just been my experience. So I feel like even the things that I own, I cannot get as much wear out of. And I'm not a collector. I'm not someone who aspires to have this gigantic, expensive collection filled with things that I'll never reach for. I really don't have an emotional connection to most of my pieces. I buy them because I like them, and I'm only willing to spend the money on them if I know that I'll be able to get my money's worth out of them by being able to put them to use. And if I cannot justify spending so much money on them. So I have been buying a lot more active wear. I have been going through quite a bit of an Elo phase, as you might have noticed in the past few months. So it's not like I'm not shopping, but the kind of things I have been buying are just very different from what they used to be. Not to mention that I feel like the whole luxury community is going through a big shift. I don't think unboxings and hauls, and I'm not saying that I haven't done any one of those, because of course I continue doing them, but not the kind of volume that I used to do. And I feel like that's the same for a lot of people out there. I feel like we just don't consume as we used to. It's not as cool as it used to be. And if it still brings you joy, you go ahead and enjoy it. But personally, I just feel like I've changed quite a bit. So I was also struggling with, okay, if this is not something that I'm gravitating towards, what am I going to bring in front of you, because obviously I still love Hermes and I still have a huge amount of appreciation for the brand, their craftsmanship, their heritage, their history, something that I still love, but I don't buy as much of it as I used to, as some of you might have noticed, especially those of you who have been with me for years, because I've been doing YouTube for 5 years at this point. I think it's going to be 5 years in December, which is insane, especially considering that it was never my plan. I started doing YouTube as a hobby, just, as something almost like a creative outlet for me. So the fact that I've been doing this consistently, uploading videos twice a week for 5 years, that to me is a huge accomplishment. And the best part of it, without a doubt, is the community that we have built and fostered. So basically what I'm trying to say here is that I'm not going anywhere. If you see me being a little bit less consistent, it's not because I don't love doing YouTube anymore or because I'm abandoning this channel, because that is not the case. I've just had a lot going on and I'm trying to figure out how, just trying to come up with a new routine, long story short. So that's the reason why I've only been uploading once a week, to kind of see how that goes and how I can fit that into my schedule. And going into September and maybe even October, I do want to stick to that, uploading at least once a week, and it's going to be either on Thursdays or Sundays. I don't want to promise that it's going to be either one of those days, because it might change, it might shift. And please let me know in the comment section what kind of videos you'd like to see. Do you still enjoy my sit down videos? Do you still enjoy me talking about luxury fashion in general? Are you more drawn to my Hermes specific videos? Would you like me to make more of those and not really talk about any other brands? Would you like me to do more vlogs, more lifestyle vlogs, or shopping vlogs? I would love to hear your thoughts in the comment section, because at the end of the day, what really matters to me is that these videos add value to your life in some shape or form, whether they are educational or entertaining, or they just distract you from everything you have going on a daily basis. As long as they add value to your life, that's what is most important to me. So please let me know how I can do that for you, and I'll try my best to make them as creative and as inspired as I possibly can. So yeah, I just wanted to quickly catch you up on that. So school has started this week, so I'm already back in school. In case you were not aware, I am going back to college to get my second bachelor's in psychology, and I'm going to specialize in clinical psychology. So that is, something else that I now have on my plate on top of everything. So I just wanted to let you know that I'm not going anywhere. I will be back very, very soon, and you can still expect to see videos from me. And I'm also trying to be a little bit more active on Instagram. Instagram was never really my favorite platform, but I have been playing around with it and I'm getting into it. So if you would like to get more regular updates from me, I will try my best to do more reels and do more on my stories, just so we can stay connected. But again, it sounds very it sounds like a farewell with you, which it's not. I'm only going to go down to uploading once a week, which is still, you guys know how much I ramble. I mean, case in point, you know how chatty and rambly I am. So you'll still get plenty of me on a weekly basis. And then if you want to get even more, make sure that you follow me on Instagram too. And speaking of Instagram, I wanted to grab some of your questions. I'm filming on my phone just because it's so bright today. I didn't want to pull out my camera because then I have to keep readjusting it. So I actually took screenshots on Instagram and I put them on my computer. So I'm going to go grab my laptop and then we can answer some of the questions that you wanted to hear my thoughts on. So I haven't had a chance to go through all of your questions, but there are so many that I'm seeing here that are just so kind and so thoughtful. There is one that says, no question, just to say that I love your content, which I so appreciate. You guys are honestly the best, and that's why I am doing this live update, because you know that my content is not really, it was never really about me. It wasn't really that personal, but I just so appreciate you guys watching me and tuning in. And I feel like we have such an incredible community here that I felt like it's an update that I wanted to give you. And I do feel comfortable sharing these things with you at this point. So I just very, very much appreciate you. And you guys have helped me through such tough times. And I've been through so much in the past 5 years, and you guys have been with me through all of it. Even if you didn't know, even if I didn't come on here and, dissect my personal life, your comments, your kindness, your support really meant the world to me. So just know that I appreciate you too. We have a question here about music and shows you indulge in. Okay, music. There is this singer that I recently discovered. I don't think she's up and coming because she has a song with Taylor Swift, and I feel like Taylor Swift wouldn't just, make a song with anyone. What's her name? Her name is Gracie Abrams, I think is her name, and she has a ton of incredible songs. So I've had her on repeat for the past couple of weeks. She is someone that I am currently obsessed with, like the chokehold that her music has on my life right now. I cannot even explain to you. And then shows I've been watching. I am definitely more of a show person rather than a movie person. I really don't watch movies that often these days. I much prefer a show because it's something that I can watch quickly and I can hop in and out of it. So, what have I been watching? Modern Family is a big favorite of mine. Big Bang Theory is one of my comfort shows. Like, if I ever need to watch something nostalgic, something really calming that just puts my mind at ease, the Big Bang Theory is something that I will always go back to. I've been watching Heartstopper on Netflix, which is just the Swedish show, and they're coming out with a new season pretty soon. So I would say that those three I really enjoy, and also Schitt's Creek. That's another show that actually you guys got me on, because back in the day, a lot of you used to say that my style reminds you of David from Schitt's Creek, which makes a lot of sense because he wears a lot of Rick Owens and also some Valentino, and I used to wear a lot of Valentino back in the day. So a lot of you used to say that my style reminds you of his. So that's how I got into it, and I've been hooked for years. I mean, I couldn't tell you how many times I have rewatched every single season. So that is another one of my favorites. How's university going? It's going well. I mean, my classes literally just started this week, but it has been such a long journey. I feel like we have been talking about this for 9 months at this point, because I decided to go back to school at the end of last year. Before I decided to pursue this full time, I did a short course at Oxford online just to kind of get my feet wet and see if it's something that I would have the bandwidth to take on. And I fell so deeply in love with psychology that I decided that it's kind of my calling, and it's something that I would like to spend a little bit more time getting to know and seeing how I can just integrate it into my life. And I'm not exactly sure what I want to do with this degree. I'm not sure if I want to become a clinician, if I want to become a therapist, if I want to work in a lab, if I want to do research, if I want to, do something with this as a business. I really have no idea, but I just want to take it one day at a time, show up as my best self tomorrow, because I already have so much on my plate. I feel like if I start thinking about what I'm going to do with this, 7 years from now, I'll just freak out and it will be paralyzing. So right now I'm just focusing on what I'm doing tomorrow and the day after, not what I'm going to do with this years down the line. But I mean, that wasn't the question. Anyway, it has been going really well, and it's been a really long journey getting here. I mean, psychology is something that I have always wanted to do, but I couldn't apply to do psychology straight out of high school. And then I don't know if I ever told you guys what was the final push that got me into doing it. It's actually a really funny story, and Karen has no idea that she had something to do with it. So Karen Britchick is someone that I follow on Instagram. I'm a big fan of hers. We don't know each other personally. We have exchanged DMs a couple of times. She's always been very supportive of me, which I really appreciate, and I am a huge fan of her as a person based on what I know, and also her style. She has impeccable taste. Anyway, long story short, Karen posted this reel last year on Instagram, and it wasn't even her reel. She had reposted someone else, and it had the biggest influence on my life. It was basically this girl talking about how you can wake up at any point and completely change your life and decide that you are starting a new chapter. And I so wish I had saved that reel. I have no idea who the girl was, and because I wasn't the one reposting it, I can no longer find it. But it was just something that Karen reposted, and it really stuck with me. And I decided, I'm not going to wait for the perfect time, the perfect day. I'm not going to wait to reach a certain age. If I want to make a change, I'm going to go ahead and do it. And that's really what pushed me to decide to go back to school. So thank you so much to Karen. She has no idea about this. I never told her this, but it was really kind of like a life-changing moment. So social media can be a beautiful place, and it can be really quite inspiring. So That's what actually gave me the final push to do it, and the fact that I have been going to therapy for the past 2 years. Speaking of which, there were quite a few questions underneath this that asked me about my fitness journey. I want to know about your health and mindset updates. You look healthy and happy. So, there are a ton of questions about my fitness journey and what I've been doing, which maybe I should do a dedicated video on my gym routine or what I eat, although it's something I want to be careful with because I'm not a nutritionist, I'm not a dietitian, and I don't have the healthiest relationship with food, but I can share with you my experience and what I eat because I have a pretty strict and really clean diet. I can also share with you what I do at the gym. I go to the gym quite often, and if you're wondering what's been the biggest shift in my gym routine, I do think taking up running has completely transformed my body. Like, running has been an incredible new hobby that I took up in the past 6 months. I want to say I first started running in February, and then I had one race in, when was that? Was it June? I think I had my first race, and I have a couple more coming up in the fall. But running has really been life changing. It's been one of the best hobbies, and I do go to the gym quite often. So in the summer, I went 12 to 14 times a week, which meant that I almost went twice a day, and I wasn't consistently doing the same thing. I did different classes. I worked out different body parts. So I am trying to be quite smart about it, but I don't think it has anything to do with quantity. It's much more about quality. If I don't have the time, if I don't have the energy, if I don't have the mental capacity to work out twice a day, I won't do it because, as I said at the beginning of this video, I'm the kind of person who wants to give 110%. So if I show up, I'm going to make sure that I do my best and I don't just go for the sake of going. So, don't listen to this number if you just don't have the time, if you don't have the bandwidth to do it that often, but make sure that when you choose to go, you really show up. And also when it comes to, timing, yes, it takes a lot of time, but at the end of the day, it's an investment that you're making into yourself. And when people say, well, I don't have time to work out, I don't have time to go to the gym, I always say, but what happens after dinner? Do you just sit on the couch watching movies? How often do you just spend, an hour scrolling on your phone, or aimlessly looking at the window or taking a nap? Which, there's nothing wrong with any one of these things. If you feel like these things, these activities add value to your life, there is no judgment here. Please continue doing them. But 95% of people do have the time, they just don't prioritize going to the gym. Instead, they do other things, which, if that's what they prefer to do, that is perfectly fine. But most people do have an hour in their day to spend on working out or doing something. And yeah, for me, it has really been like going to the gym, and especially doing yoga, doing running has been not only amazing for my physical health, but also for my mental health. I love doing different classes just because I work for myself, which means that all day, every day, I'm trying to figure out the next step, and I'm always strategizing and trying to think, okay, what do I have to do next? Whereas when I go to the gym and I do a class, or I do a PT session, or I do a yoga class, whatever it is, as long as it's guided, it just really helps my brain turn off. I just show up, I take the same classes with the same trainers who know my strength, who know my limits, so they can always advise me on what to do, if I should go heavier, if I should go lighter, which I really appreciate. And it really just helps my brain completely shut off, which has been kind of meditative for, is it a word? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is a word. I hope you know what I'm trying to say here. Basically, just shut my brain off and get absorbed in the moment and just be really present, which has been incredibly rewarding. And I'm not only committed to reshaping my body, but also reshaping my mental health. So I committed to doing therapy every single week for 2 years without exception. Even, there were weeks when I went and I didn't feel like I had anything to say. And there were other weeks when I had so much going on, I felt overwhelmed and I didn't even know where to begin. But instead of avoiding going to therapy and avoiding the hard conversations, I still chose to go, which again just completely changed my life. And again, that was an additional push that convinced me to go back to school and study psychology. Just seeing the huge shift and the influence and the impact that going to therapy had on my life. I would love if I one day could help people change their lives if they choose to do that. So therapy and going to the gym, to me, those things kind of go hand in hand. If you could live anywhere else, where would you live and why? Great question. I love living in Amsterdam for now. I've been here for 4 years, and obviously, I do see myself staying here for the next three, but I don't think I'm going to live here forever. The only other place that I have been tempted by is London. I don't know why, but I've always been very drawn to London. I have always felt very much at home in London, even though I've never lived there. So saying that it's my second home would be an exaggeration, considering that I have never spent more than a couple of weeks there. But I've been going there since I was 17, I want to say. So for over 10 years. And it's so funny because every time I'm going through a big life change, or if I'm at a crossroad in my life and I really don't know which direction to head in, I always find myself in London. So I'm not sure if maybe I lived there in a previous life, but I always feel very safe, very comfortable, just very at peace being in London. So I could see myself potentially living there. And I did consider actually going to school in the UK when I was applying to schools here. I also considered applying to a couple of colleges in the UK and also in London, but I'm at a point in Amsterdam where I still feel that I have more to give, or I have more to gain being here. I'm finally starting to set my roots. I'm feeling more and more comfortable being here. I have an amazing group of friends and an incredible community around me, which I did not want to sacrifice. I did not want to uproot my life again, as I did 4 years ago, move to a new place and have to start all over again. Although I do have some friends in London, which would definitely help. And that wasn't the case when I first moved here. So it would be different, but I wasn't ready to make the move just yet. But in a few years, I could see myself, you know, relocating, and where that's going to be, I'm not sure, but London is something that is a place that is very, very close to my heart. What are your thoughts on cosmetic treatments, Botox, fillers, lasers, any favorites? So I haven't actually had any treatments done in a few years. I have dabbled in all of these, but I don't have anything in my face or anything in my body right now. Well, that's not true. I did have laser treatments, laser hair removal, but no injectables. I actually have to get a tiny bit of Botox sometime soon in my 11s, so in between my eyebrows. But I don't have anything in my face right now. But if any one of these things give you confidence, if they bring you joy, if they make you feel empowered, you go ahead and do them. I just don't have anything right now other than laser hair removal. And I have also been using my at-home devices, which I'm really, really happy with. And then a little bit of Botox, I think, is very much needed at this point. It's not something that I'm rushing out to get done right now, but just so you know, it's something that I'll probably do in the next month or so. There are quite a few questions about dating and am I single? Um, all these different things. Yes, are you in a relationship? No, I am as single as can be. So I think this is, we have covered the majority of the topics that most of you were interested in. So let me go ahead, grab that gym bag that I want to show you, and then I'm also going to show you some things from Aloe really quickly. I quickly wanted to show you guys this gym bag, which I recently got from Lululemon. So I have been looking for a really easy grab and go gym bag that I can throw on my bike, I can take to school, something that will fit my laptop and all my school things, but also all the things that I need for the gym, which sometimes I need quite a lot, because if I do, let's say, a yoga class and then I do some weights, I'll need a change of outfits, I'll need my yoga towel, I'll need a pair of shoes, I'll need my protein shake and all these different things. So I was looking for a big bag and one that I really don't have to worry about that much. The bag that I was thinking about getting was the vintage Louis Vuitton Keepo. And the reason I want to get a vintage one and not a new one is because back in the day, it was offered in epi leather, which means that it's the same Keepo shape that a lot of people know and love, but it's in black leather, so it doesn't have any monogram on it. And I found quite a few of them on Fashion File at an amazing price in great condition. But I know that ordering Fashion File to Europe can be quite tricky, so I'm thinking about getting one when I go to New York, and I'll just pick one up in person. I was supposed to be in New York at the end of this month, but I just have way too much going on, so I'm not gonna go. And in the meantime, I was having a browse online. I looked at On, because I'm a big fan of On shoes and On's activewear, and they have just launched a new range of bags. But then I came across this one from Lululemon, which is an incredibly simple bag. It's called the City Tote, I think. No, the City Duffel, maybe. I'm going to have it linked down below for you. And it has been just an incredible addition to my collection. Again, it is nothing fancy, but that's exactly what I was looking for. I wanted to get a bag that I can use, abuse, and I don't have to think about for a single second, because I know I'm going to have this shoved under the desk. I'm going to use it in the library. I'm going to shove this in the locker in the gym. So it has just been perfect. It has a ton of compartments. It is incredibly made. It feels really nice and hard wearing. So if you are looking for a great everyday gym bag, something that is well made, really clean and streamlined, but it's not going to break the bank, this is a really good one to go for. You could even use this for traveling because it does have that sort of sleeve that goes over the handle of your suitcase. So this is just a really good one. If you're looking for a large and in charge tote bag, this is one that I would highly suggest that you look into. And then let me go ahead and grab the aloe thing. So if you saw my London unboxing all the pieces that I got in London, you may remember me talking about these because I mentioned that I did want to pick up a pair of shoes from Aloe. They only have one style of sneakers that they offer both for men and women in a ton of different sizes. Let me see if I can do this one-handed. Yep, so this is the shoes. Now, I had to order this twice. Basically, I went to London, tried them on, but I knew I was not going to buy them there because I just did not have any more room in my suitcase to carry them back. So I just wanted to try them on. I tried them on. I think they had quite a few of them on display in the store, and I just wanted to grab one that was kind of close to my size as a reference point. I didn't want to ask someone to help me get the right size because I knew I wasn't going to get them. So I didn't want to waste someone's time by asking for, a ton of different sizes. So I think they had a 42.5 on display, which I tried. It was a slightly too big. So I figured, okay, if I go down a size, it should be perfect. So I ended up getting these shoes initially in a 41.5, which were way too small. I returned them and I got them in a 42 in the end. And 42 does fit me. So I would say that these shoes run true to size. And as much as I love the look, unfortunately, I have to say that they are just a little bit too chunky. I mean, I'm not sure if it's going to show up on camera, but the sole is really quite thick and there is quite a bit of elevation, meaning that it's a little bit thinner in the front and then it gradually increases as you go towards the back, which reminds me of a pair of heels. And it also makes my legs look incredibly skinny just because they are so chunky. So I don't think I'm going to be keeping these, unfortunately. As much as I love the look, I think they're really nicely made. They're kind of like a more elevated take on the Nike Air Force, which I love. But to me, these are just a little bit too chunky. If the sole was honestly just a tiny bit thinner, these shoes would be perfection, but they are not. So I think I am going to be returning these. And then another fail from Aloe, which it doesn't happen too often, but every now and again it does. I wanted to get their turtleneck. They do this kind of active wear turtleneck, which I loved the sound of. I mean, I wasn't going to wear it for working out, but I thought it could be a nice piece to style with a more casual everyday outfit, maybe with a pair of jeans. And they offer this turtleneck both for men and women. The only difference is that the men's one has the Aloe emblem on the neckline, whereas the women's one has the Aloe sign on the sleeve. I got them both. The men's one is way too oversized. A size small was way too big for me. And then the women's one has this really feminine cut where it kind of has this shape, if you know what I mean. It kind of has like an hourglass shape, which was incredibly unflattering on me. So that is another piece that I have on the floor, which is going to be going back. I'm not sure if I talked about that piece in a previous video, but if I did, this is my update on those. But I remember talking about these and getting quite a few of you excited about the idea of these shoes. But I just wanted to let you know that I am not going to be keeping them because I find them just a little bit too chunky for my personal liking. My friends, I really hope today's video wasn't too hectic, but I really just wanted to sit down and have almost like a FaceTime call with you guys and update you on what's been going on. and what you can expect to see from me going into fall. So again, don't worry, I'm not going anywhere. If you want to stay up to date, make sure that you subscribe down below because I will be back with a new video once a week throughout the next month, and you can also follow me on Instagram for more updates. But I just really wanted to thank you for being here and watching and for all your support. Let me know in the comment section what videos you'd like to see from me in the near future, and while you're down there, make sure to give this video a thumbs up. I really appreciate you being here and watching, and I will see you back here with a new video really soon.